Confidence collapses when identity is controlled externally. In many Arab families, our worth is tied to obedience. Not just obedience to our parents, but obedience to our aunts, our uncles, our cousins, the extended family. Sometimes that obedience, our grandparents, for those of you that still have your grandparents. Success is comparison. Morality is equal to conformity. So even if you are not practicing your religion in a certain way of being, your confidence can wane in that. Love typically is controlled by compliance. In Arab families, your confidence collapses because your identity is based on these things outside of you. How many of you where your confidence falters when you're not being as obedient, or someone is comparing you to someone else, or maybe you're not practicing the faith, no matter what your faith is, in the way that your family wants you to, and your confidence, or you feel guilty, it starts to go down. Many of us can relate to that. So think about when someone steps outside of the mold, whether it's your career, your marriage, the stigma around divorce. Let's say you relocate to another city, or you relocate to another country. Anytime, or let's say you set some boundaries. Pressure in the family system will start to increase, okay? The moment you start to go outside of the mold, they'll start to put pressure on you. Not because you're doing something wrong, it's because you're challenging the family system. And we know that typically we come from a culture that is based on fear. So if you're doing anything outside of that, guess what? They're not going to like it more often than not. So let's explain what happens. So when you start to do anything different, you might hear repeated criticism over and over again. Or even there's some families, they're so good at hinabiniku, they'll just poke at you, right? And they'll say these subtle comments, and then, oh my gosh, you'll start to just dim. You're going, wait, wow, they're criticizing me, or they're doing this subtlety that just eats at you. I want to validate that for you, because what they're doing is they're going to tap at that shame within you. Now, what happens is when we have this deep shame within ourselves, most Arab will talk about it as guilt. Now, we've talked numerous times on many lives. Guilt is doing something wrong. You're not doing anything wrong by living your life, marrying who you want to marry, divorcing who you want to divorce, relocating, or a career choice. You're not doing anything wrong. Or even if you set a boundary, Mom, Dad, I can't do this today. They're going to put this pressure, and they're going to place all this guilt on you, and oh, I'm a bad daughter, or I'm a bad son, or I'm doing something wrong. You have to remember that's purposely done. That's not fair. It's unconsciously done many times to move you towards obedience and compliance. So you want to recognize this self-doubt of when that shame trigger goes within. You're going to have this self-doubt. Stop yourself and say, what am I doing wrong? If you're not doing anything wrong, know it's a shame response. And we'll talk more a little later about how to overcome that. Many times, and this is so classic of how we move as Arab, at least in my experience as a clinician, both personally and professionally, I can relate to this. Whenever we start to do something different or take that risk and have the confidence to move forward in something, they'll say a comment, and then we start to feel this self-doubt. We start to shrink. And then what happens? Over-explaining. We keep, I'm doing this because, and then we start to go into this hysterical spin, trying to convince people to affirm what you're doing or to support what you're doing when they don't even remotely understand what you're doing. So what you're asking of them is probably not very realistic. So, but if know that may come from self-doubt. Over explaining is a loss of authority. So anytime you over explain, especially to people who are unwell or toxic or who want to control you, immediately they may take it and then they'll instill more doubt in you, and you're going to explain more. Then you get revved up and then you snap, if you're a snapper, and you start yelling and screaming. Take a step back, or maybe you retreat and you go, forget it, I don't want to do it. And then you go into your room or you hide. Whatever your response is, it's totally okay. It's about awareness and recognizing that. So when you over explain, you lose your own authority of yourself. So I want to ask you guys, what comments trigger you the most? So once you recognize the triggers, then you can take your own agency of your own life and be able to, you take the agency of your own life and say, okay, this is a trigger for me. Where is the trigger? Why is this a trigger for me? A lot of times there's a misalignment in values. And so it's a trigger because typically people's values don't change and it's frustrating. First of all, you want to identify the triggers and then understand why it's a trigger for you. And then from there, you can build confidence by recognizing in that moment, I know my parents are going to talk about Masadi, and that's just a given. So I don't give them my power of authority, say, oh, the promotion, I'm supposed to get 5,000, oh no, 2,000, and I start going into this, oh no, I haven't been there that long, right? And then they're like, and then I start to get more revved up, right? How many of you can relate to that? So you take yourself out of that game. Sometimes I would say, oh, I got $100,000 bonus. Okay, but let's get back to the 5 steps of confidence rebuild framework. You want to separate. Step 1, you want to separate respect from obedience. Many adult Arab children, we respect our parents and we can respect them, but the respecting and obey don't have to be the same thing. You can honor your family without surrendering your adulthood. And I can tell you from the DMs I receive and from the conversations that I've had with so many wonderful people, many surrender their adulthood, their agency, their autonomy, because they believe that's respecting their parents. And it's important to make that distinction. I can respect them, but am I obeying them out of fear? Where am I obeying out of? Fear, or am I acting from my own values? Many times it's out of fear.
If this video resonated with you, subscribe and join the community.